Oh, here's E. Michael Jones getting mogged by Trent Horn. Was the Catholic Church ever anti-Semitic? Let's see what he says.
As a Catholic, it is our responsibility to accept church teaching from the living magisterium, the teaching office of the church that communicates to us in the here and the now. We are under the authority of the bishops and the Pope. We do not place our ultimate authority in our personal interpretation of what Scripture and past Christian tradition teach. That's really no different from other non-Catholic Christians. And there are many, even during the Protestant Reformation, there are Protestants who said, yeah, I believe in what some of the previous popes and doctors and fathers of the church said, but I interpret them this way, not how the church interprets them currently in the 16th century. So you're going to have people who will look at previous teachings and judgments to try to defend anti-Semitism. And I think that word anti-Semitism, it can have a lot of different meanings, so that's what can make the topic very difficult to discuss. For example, it is not anti-Semitic to say that Judaism is a false religion. It's false because Judaism denies that Jesus Christ is the Messiah.
See. Perfect. Christians don't think Judaism is a false religion. Their only problem with Judaism is that it doesn't believe in Jesus. So Christians uphold Judaism. Their only problem with Jews is that they don't believe in Jesus, but they are enable and affirm Judaism. And then these Christians online are like, there's no such thing as Judeo-Christian. You believe the Old Testament. You believe in the God of Zion. That's so important right there.
To try to defend anti-Semitism. And I think that word anti-Semitism, it can have a lot of different meanings, so that's what can make the topic very difficult to discuss. For example, it is not anti-Semitic to say that Judaism is a false religion. It's false because Judaism denies that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. It denies that God is a Trinity. That's not anti-Semitic to say that Judaism is false or that Jews should come to believe in Jesus and the Messiah.
So it is anti-Semitic to say, according to him, it is anti-Semitic to say Judaism is fake and it's a blueprint to conquer the Goyim and that it's supremacist. No, that's anti-Semitic. But you're allowed to say it's wrong because it doesn't believe in Jesus. That's the problem that they have with it. The only problem Christians have with Jews is that they don't believe in the Messiah that was meant to conquer the Goyim.
And come to fully embrace God's revelation. That's not anti-Semitic. It is anti-Semitic, however, to treat people who are Jewish, either religiously or ethnically Jewish, as being morally inferior to other people simply because of their Jewishness. And so this would justify mistreating or discriminating against them. Even, for example, it's one thing to even say, well, it would be wonderful to have Christians in positions of public power to provide a positive Christian influence in the world. That's not a bad thing to say. It's not even a bad thing to work for. It is wrong to say that of all the peoples in the world, Jews are especially malevolent or untrustworthy and thus should be subjugated because of that. That would be unjust discrimination and contradiction to what the church has taught at the Second Vatican Council. And even before that, long before that, the church had taught about not oppressing the Jewish people. However, there have been popes and others, King St. Louis IX, who made prudential judgments about how Jews ought to be treated in Christian society, some of which we can now come to see were unjust ways of treating people. Not everything that a previous pope ever says or even a council does is infallible. That's why we need the living magisterium to help us to interpret what things the church has done in the past that have remained in full effect in the present and others that are no longer in effect. Because there are councils, there are ecumenical councils that have certain disciplinary canons that are no longer in force today because they've never been repeated. But that's why, to understand how the church teaches with its authority, we need to listen to the magisterium to do that. A lot of this Catholic anti-Semitism comes from faulty interpretations of past papal pronouncements or past judgments.
Okay, boring as shit. What does E. Michael Jones say? Kvetching. E. Michael Jones, you're losing. E. Michael Jones, I said, keep it up and you'll be excommunicated by the real Catholics. I was just trolling with him.